Welcome back. You're watching Nation Tonight with me, Nivedhana Prabhu. Now, Delhi's toxic problems continue. The air in the national capital region has dipped to the very poor category, with the air quality index hovering above 300 in several locations. The phase 2 of Graded Response Action Plan has come into force from today. The Delhi government convened an emergency meeting over the pollution problems today. Delhi's Environment Minister Gopal Rai has announced that besides the 13 existing air pollution hotspots in the capital, monitoring teams will be deployed at 8 more places where the AQI breached the 300 mark.
दिल्ली के अंदर 13 हॉट स्पॉट्स हैं, यानी कि 13 वो क्षेत्र हैं कि जहां पर प्रदूषण की स्थिति ज्यादा सामान्य जगहों से खराब होती है। उन 13 जगहों के अलावा अभी जो मॉनिटर किया जा रहा है, कुछ लोकल कारणों की वजह से 8 पॉइंट ऐसे चिन्हित किए गए हैं उन 13 के अलावा, जहां पर एयर क्वालिटी का जो इंडेक्स है आज 300 प्लस गया है। इन 8 जगहों पर आज सभी जो नोडल एमसीडी के डीसी हैं उनको ये निर्देश दिया गया है कि 13 के अलावा इन 8 जगहों पर भी स्पेशल टीम डिप्यूट की जाएगी, जो वहां पर लोकल सोर्सेज का इंस्पेक्शन ज्वाइंटली करेगी।
पराली पंजाब हरियाणा में जल रही है, उसकी वजह से उसका असर दिल्ली और एनसीआर में पूरे में आ रहा है। सीनियर सिटीजन, चाइल्ड, बीमार आदमी, इन सबको सांस की बीमारी हो रही है। गवर्नमेंट को चाहिए, किसानों को चाहिए कि ये इसको जलाना बंद करें, इसका कुछ और दूसरा ऑल्टरनेट निकालें जिससे कि पराली को कहीं और यूज किया जाए।
सरकार से निवेदन है कि जो सख्ती कर रही है उसे और बढ़ाया जाए कि लोग पटाखे जो छोड़ते हैं उनसे प्रदूषण बहुत बढ़ता है, और इस पे सरकार ने बहुत बढ़िया काम किया है कि रोक लगा दी है, लेकिन इसको और सख्ती की जाए। जो ये कॉलोनियों में भीतर जो पटाखे फोड़ते हैं, आखिर धुआं तो कहीं जाएगा, उसको हम लोगों को बहुत दिक्कत होगी। जिन्हें अस्थमा है उनको तो बहुत दिक्कत होगी।
रावण जलेगा, जगह जगह पे चल रहे प्रोग्राम, तो ये इसके लिए सरकार कुछ ऐसा रूल तो बना दिया, लेकिन लोग नहीं मानते हैं। इसमें कुछ जनता का भी सहयोग होना चाहिए। उसमें हो सकता है मेरे बच्चे भी मना करने के बाद में भी यूज़ करें, तो इसलिए इस पर जितना प्रतिबंध लगाया जाए, परिवार वालों को भी इस बारे में सहयोग देना चाहिए।
Now, despite capital choking from toxic air, stubble burning, which is one of the biggest reasons for the rise in pollution during this time from neighbouring states, rages on. In this exclusive report from Punjab's Patiala Paddy farms have been set ablaze. Let's listen in to more from my colleague Gurpreet.
We have seen in Punjab and Haryana specifically for last so many days, a lot of stubble burning cases have been reported. We are reporting from one of the fields in district Patiala, where we are showing that how the stubble burning is going on, and the farmers, they are giving their reasons why they are going for this stubble burning. Some of the farmers, they are also with us. We will also talk to them to understand what is their problem, why they are continuing this stubble burning, because one side the state government has been claiming they are providing all the machinery and all the equipment to all the farmers to just curb this stubble burning menace in the state of Punjab. But for the last so many days, we have seen this pollution level is not only has been gone up in the state of Punjab or Haryana, in Delhi also toxic air has become one of the major topic in national capital.
ਪਰਾਲੀ ਦੀ ਆਉਣ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਜੀ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਸੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਅੱਗ ਲਾਉਂਦਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ 10 ਦਿਨ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਅੱਗ ਲਾਈ ਨੂੰ, 15 ਦਿਨ ਆਪਣਾ ਫਸਲ ਵੱਢੀ ਨੂੰ, ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਬੇਲਰ ਵਾਲਾ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੇਲਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਵੀ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ 50 ਏਕੜ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹ 20 ਏਕੜ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ 10 ਏਕੜ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ 2, 2.5, 3 ਕਿੱਲੇ 10 ਏਕੜ ਵਾਲੇ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਦੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਬੇਲਰ ਵਾਲਾ ਵੀ ਬੇਲਾਂ ਬਣਾਉਣੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਵੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਰਸਤਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਟਾਈਮ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਬੇਲਰ वाला भी नहीं होता।
नहीं, जो ये भी हम भी मानते हैं प्रदूषण सभी की सेहत के लिए हानिकारक है, पर इसका कोई हल नहीं है। पहले सरकार ने, पंजाब सरकार ने 10 दिन धान को लेट लगवाया, लेट लगने के कारण अब गेहूं बोने का टाइम होगा, ना तो इसको मिट्टी में मिला सकते हैं, ना कोई मतलब जो बिल्डर आते हैं।
Meanwhile, there's no respite for Mumbaikars. BMC, which is Mumbai's municipal body, will release SOPs and guidelines today for ensuring better quality of air in the city. The opposition, however, is targeting the state government and the BMC, claiming they're failing to manage the air situation. All right, to understand this development further, I'm being joined in by my guest this evening, but let me introduce our guest, Dr. Neville Mehta, former CEO of Mumbai First. Dr. Mehta, I appreciate you taking the time out. I also understand I have Gurfan Beg, founder Project, joining us as well this evening. Good evening to the both of you. Thank you very much for taking the time out. Dr. Mehta, let me come to you first. You know, generally when we talk about the AQI, it's always Delhi, unfortunately, that is in the conversation. Whoever thought a few years ago we would also be talking about the situation of Mumbai as well?
That's true. We were getting there slowly and steadily, but nobody realized that we would be here so soon. And this is just plain a party on the part of the people who have to monitor and evaluate the quality and enforce rules and regulations that many individuals and knowledge partners have taken the time off and given their resources and efforts and time to get it all organized. But unfortunately, if you don't implement it, this is the outcome that we see today in Mumbai.
All right. As you make those opening remarks as well about the situation, Dr. Beg, just for the perspective for our viewers as well, if you could tell us what are the factors that essentially drive the AQI numbers to what we see?
Yeah, see, there are many. See, the very first thing which drives is the emissions from the sources. And the weather just only maneuver it. It doesn't really, weather or climate doesn't produce air pollutions. So when we are talking about in terms of whether Mumbai or Delhi, it is the transport sector, biofuel sector, then the industries and the wind-blown dust. These are some of the 5 major factors which drives the air quality of this. Mumbai or Delhi, whatever you talk about, the only thing is that when the onset of winter is there, monsoon withdraws, it gets late, then it becomes an unfavorable weather, and then they manipulate these emissions, and that is the reason that all this variability in air pollution is seen.
Okay, as we talk about those essential factors as well, Dr. Mehta, what I would also want to understand from your perspective is that if an environmental action plan was already implemented in the first place, or rather taken into more serious consideration, we wouldn't have found ourselves in this situation, irrespective of whichever city we talk about.
Nivedhana, you're perfectly right. As I said earlier, that there is already a plan in place. Everybody, I mean, whatever Dr. Gurfran said about the various reasons why we have this pollution in the air is absolutely correct. He's absolutely in line. But we have taken into consideration all these factors, and there have been we put it together and we have made a plan. The plan takes care, and it actually tells you how to take care of all these types of pollution, what you should do, and how you should do it. People like NEERI, CSIR, MPCB, KPMG, McKinsey were all part of this plan, including the Environment Ministry, the Climate Action, the Ministry also. All of them are part of this, and we all came down to a conclusion that this is the best possible plan and it has to be implemented. The municipality also accepted it, and unfortunately, nobody did anything about it. Now tell me, they are aware. They are the people who put out, these type of communications that the monsoon is on its way out. Do they not realize that if the monsoon is on its way out, what happens to the impurity in the air? What happens to the construction that is going on, and the dust that it comes out with. What happens to this various digging that is going on, whether it's building bridges or it's making coastal road. I mean, where is this dust going to go? How is it going to be treated? How is it going to be taken care of? I mean, all that was there, the part of the plan, and unfortunately, as I said, everybody in India gets up only after the problem exists or comes about. Nobody takes care of things before the problem, and therefore nobody anticipates. They don't become preemptive; they become post-emptive. So that is what they do. They always do things after a disaster or after a problem. So I would suggest that the government should take very strict steps in implementing the already plan, the already environment plan, the environment action plan, the climate action plan has to be implemented and evaluated and monitored by the government authorities, because they are the best people to get things done.
Absolutely, and sadly we find ourselves in the same situation every year, which means it is high time we do see such cognitive measures that need to be taken. But Dr. Beg, talking about what Dr. Mehta was also pointing out, what do you think are the loopholes to be addressing, or rather challenges in this situation?
See, the point is that under this changing climate, it is not like what it used to be 10 years back or something. Now, as the time is progressing, we are getting into a very critical phase of climate change. And during this climate change, we need to be extra careful. Anytime any unusual weather events, any unusual activity due to the climate change may come. So we are more vulnerable to, the point is that the climate and the weather is going to be more erratic and vulnerable. Under such circumstances, we need to be extra careful, as Dr. Mehta has told, that we should have known. We know that monsoon withdrawal is going to happen now. The winds are going to be calm, whether it is Delhi or Pune or Mumbai. And we need to be taking extra care that the construction work need to be stopped, or it may be slowed. If at all it is happening, then you have to take the proper guidelines, which is there, putting the green cloth or high-rise kind of a tin shades or something which should not allow it to disperse. But then we wake up only when already things start getting deteriorated. And from that point, getting into the normal again, that takes a double the labor. Had we prepared before, I think it should have taken less, all those. That is what it has happened in Mumbai. Mumbai, one new thing has happened as compared to last time. That this time the temperature difference between Lonavala and Sahyadri Hill and Mumbai area was enormous. Mumbai was still warmer, and then Lonavala and all, it has gone into much cooler. And the winds were flowing from that side. And then when the warmer and the colder wind meet, obviously whatever comes in between that get trapped. And that is where around Navi Mumbai and all those places, there is so much of a dust, which was, whether it is a redevelopment activity, coastal corridor, or metro construction, whatever it may be. But those are the dust, that particle, and it hanged and pushed towards Mumbai. And then Mumbai, you suddenly find a calm wind condition near the surface. And that is what we got trap into that. Which is, see, the weather conditions are normal. But then it doesn't happen, this kind of a situation all the time.
All right, so that's essentially, thank you very much for actually drawing things into perspective for our viewers as to what really has transpired in Mumbai and the driving factors as well. But before we wrap up, one last word from Dr. Mehta. The both of you have said it, and we all know at the end of the day, the government, of course, has not really pre-planned, which is unfortunate. But at the end of the day, it's the citizens that suffer, Dr. Mehta, and health factors and health risks as well.
Absolutely. There is a lot of problems with people's health, especially people who are daily people who go to office and have to travel, by scooters and trains and have to walk about. I mean, they are taking the brunt of the whole, deterioration of the quality of air. And not only that, I mean, everybody is now having various type of diseases. People like people who have these tuberculosis are going through hell. They cannot breathe. Asthma patients have a lot of problems. I know of a couple of friends who refuse to get out of the city, get out of the house because of this high levels of pollution, because they are highly asthmatic. So there is a lot of health issues which is brought about by the negligence of maintaining good quality air. And whatever they are mentioning right now in form of a advisory that they have come out with is nothing new. This advisory is like old wine in a new bottle, as I say always. They're just trying to cover up their inefficiency by not implementing all this that is already mentioned in the plan earlier. Just because they have got up late, now they are trying to say that this is a new advisory. It's not a new advisory. It's already there. It was supposed to be implemented, and it is supposed to be implemented year after year. So there's nothing new. So in the end, it's like, again, we talk about the floods every time. We talk about, various other issues like potholes. I mean, this is something which is happening year after year. And sometimes they have to decide that they cannot fool the public all the time. Now they also are ultimately realizing that it's just inefficiency. Unfortunately, our citizens are very, very docile and dormant, and they have the great patience. I would say they're one of the citizens who have the highest levels of patience in any country would be, I think, people from India. Thank you, Nivedita, for allowing us to speak.
Absolutely, Dr. Mehta. It was an absolute pleasure to have you, as well as Dr. Beg, not only talking to us about what is really essentially driving the AQI by the worrying concerns, but most importantly, it's unfortunate that we yet find ourselves in this situation where we're talking about the same thing that citizens have to go through. One can only hope that this is going to be a wake-up call for the respective governments. We leave the conversation at that. Thank you very much once again. We're shifting our